This is a video on part 2 of watercolour. This video will go through watercolour mediums, halos, tips, and the references used for both part 1 and part 2. So watercolour mediums. Gum arabic. Most watercolours have a proportion of gum arabic in them. It is often used as a binder for watercolours because it dissolves easily in water. It increases the colour brilliance, gloss and transparency. Helps to lift colour from the paper if you have made a mistake. Helps with the flow of the watercolour and slows down the drying time. So you can see some examples at the bottom without gum arabic and with gum arabic. So the colour has changed a little bit with it. Iridescent mediums. This gives a pearlescent or glitter effect to your watercolour. It works well with mixed with transparent colours over dark backgrounds. You can either put it down first and then layer over the top, or mix the paint to create the pearlesque feel. These are some examples of the watercolour wash just at the top and then mixing the same colour with the iridescent medium. It is a little bit hard to show the shiny stuff on a video with pictures, but that's what it looks like. Granulating medium. Certain colours such as ultramarine are granulating colours. These mediums allow all watercolours to granulate appearance. You can add this to a staining colour. It's better to use with rough paper, so you can see the granulating parts here. A texture medium. It can be used to add texture or create depth. It can be used to apply to the paper first or mixed into the paint. It can add more layers over the top. Has a tiny grain and is good on smooth paper. Texture medium can give a rough look. It's good for painting animals, landscapes, ceramic pots, or still life. Masking fluid. A latex-based liquid used for masking out or blocking out areas. Washes can be applied over the top. It must be dry before the washes are applied. Can be painted over a painted surface, but don't leave it more than 24 hours because it might pull your paint layer off. It might also pull off your paper. It does go off around 6 months after you open them. It does come in a pen form for easy application. You must wash your brushes afterwards, otherwise it will just destroy it. It will just become completely hard. It's also available as permanent masking fluid, which can be mixed in with a colour. So you can see step 1, applying the masking fluid. You know it's dry when it has that yellowy look. Step 2, paint over the top, and then carefully rub off or pull off the masking fluid, which will leave the white below. You can see in step 3, wait until it dries. It'll be yellow, and then paint over the top, and you peel it off and try and do it really carefully. Obviously wait for your paper to dry as well. And these are some examples of painting fluid. You can see some examples of permanent masking fluid in the left corner as well. So it mixed into a colour and it just gives a different effect. Halos are created due to different wetting characteristics of the mixed pigment. Traditional watercolourists have a poor practice perception about halos, also known as cauliflowering, while contemporary artists embrace the halos. So there's some examples of what it looks like as they mix into each other. Tips. These are some tips, they are not all tips. Ultramarine, please don't use salt with it. Never use a hairdryer to dry your watercolour paint because it destroys it. It can make your paper a little bit bubbly too. Think backwards. Once you lose the lightness, you can't get it back. Think about watercolours as making recipes. You can layer colours over the top of each other. Different colour layers result in different recipes. Another way of thinking about layering using watercolours is a deck of cards. You are layering the lightest colour or card first, then layering more over the top of them. You need to work out if your watercolour is granulating or staining, transparent or opaque. References. So as I said, part 1 and part 2 of these videos have been heavily researched. I attended a Winsor & Newton in-person workshop, which is a 2-day workshop with Natalie O'Connor, and a lot of the tips have come from her.